You woke up today feeling an inexplicable weight on your shoulders. It is not just physical fatigue, and it is not just a lack of a good night's sleep. It is something deeper, something that seems to suck your will to live even before you set foot out of bed. You look at yourself in the mirror and see the dark circles, the weary countenance, and the feeling that no matter how hard you try to move forward in life, there is an invisible anchor pulling you back. What if I told you that the anchor is not invisible? What if I told you that you are wearing it right now? Stop everything you are doing and look at the clothes that cover your body at this very moment. What I am going to reveal in the next few minutes will forever change the way you see your wardrobe and your own spiritual existence. There is an ancient code, an alert that was erased from the history books and removed from the scriptures that reach the masses on Sundays. An alert left by none other than Jesus, but not the Jesus that modern religion sold to you. I'm talking about the master of mysteries, the one who knew the quantum physics of the soul even before science dreamed of that term. He warned about 3 specific types of clothing that function as true energetic parasites. Clothes that, when touching your skin, not only cover your nakedness, but disconnect your connection with the divine. Does this sound like madness to you? Perhaps it sounds like science fiction, but think with me. Why did the priests of antiquity follow such strict rules about what to wear when entering the Holy of Holies? Why does the original Bible contain explicit prohibitions about mixing certain fabrics? They knew something that we have forgotten. They knew that fabric is not just dead matter. Fabric is an antenna. And depending on what you wear, you may be amplifying the light of your soul, or serving a feast of vital energy to entities that feed on your suffering. Today, I'm going to give you the key they tried to hide for 2,000 years. You will discover how certain clothes block your monad, the divine spark that dwells in the center of your being, and how this leaves you vulnerable to the Archons, the invisible rulers of this material reality. Stay with me until the end, because what is at stake here is not your style or your appearance. What is at stake is your spiritual sovereignty. If you feel drained, if you feel that your intuition is failing, if you feel that your prayers do not go past the ceiling, it may be that you are wearing the very prison that keeps you captive. Let us start by understanding what we really are. You are not this body. You are not your name or your job title. You are a monad. In Gnostic traditions and in the secret teachings that Jesus shared only with his closest disciples, the monad is the inexhaustible source of light, the particle of God that animates matter. Imagine the monad as a nuclear reactor of pure and amorphous energy that resides within you. It is this energy that gives you life, that gives you consciousness, that connects you to the original source of all that exists. When your monad is active and shining freely, you are untouchable. Disease has difficulty taking hold, sadness does not endure, and the manifestation of your desires happens with fluidity because you are in resonance with the frequency of creation. But here is the secret that the fashion industry and the controllers of this world do not want you to know. Your monad needs to breathe. It emits an electromagnetic field that extends beyond your skin. Modern science calls this the biofield or aura. This field needs to interact with the environment, with the ether, with the cosmic energy. Now imagine that you take this nuclear reactor, this divine light, and wrap it in a lead tarp. Or worse, imagine that you wrap it in a material that not only blocks the light, but distorts it, corrupts it, and inverts it. That is exactly what happens when you use the wrong types of clothing. You are literally suffocating your divinity. Jesus, in apocryphal texts like the Pistis Sophia and the Gospel of Thomas, spoke constantly about garments. He used the metaphor of clothes to describe the body, but also to describe the layers of density that the soul acquires when descending into matter. He knew that in this physical world we are under constant attack. And who is attacking us? Ancient texts call them Archons. These are non-physical entities, cold and calculating intelligences that rule the matrix, the material illusion in which we live. They do not possess the divine light within themselves. They do not have the monad, therefore they need yours. They are like cosmic vampires that feed on our emotional energy, our vitality, our glow. But how can an Archon steal the energy of a divine being like you? They cannot just walk in and take it. You are too powerful for that. They need you to lower your guard. They need you to lower your vibrational frequency. And the most efficient way, the most insidious way they found to do this was through constant contact with your skin. The skin is the largest organ of the human body. It is through it that you constantly absorb and emit energy. When you cover your skin with fabrics that carry a dead or chaotic frequency, you create a barrier of static interference. It is like trying to tune a radio to a classical music station, but having a wall of white noise blocking the signal. Your monad tries to shine, tries to expand your auric field to protect you, but it hits this textile barrier. The energy does not flow. It stagnates, and stagnant energy rots. It transforms into dense emotions like anxiety, fear, lethargy, and depression. And guess what? These are the favorite delicacies of the Archons. By wearing these forbidden clothes, you are serving dinner to your jailers. You are turning your own body into a battery for the Matrix. Have you ever noticed how different you feel when you're in contact with nature, perhaps wearing something light or nothing at all, compared to when you are stuck in an office wearing tight and artificial synthetic clothes? This difference is not just physical comfort. It is a vibrational difference. It is your soul screaming for freedom. Jesus knew that to ascend, to escape the wheel of reincarnations and suffering, the soul needs to be light. It needs to be unimpeded. He warned his followers to be careful with what they put over their bodies, not out of vanity, but as a strategy for spiritual survival. However, over the centuries, this wisdom was diluted. It was transformed into silly moral rules about decency, when in fact it was about the physics of the soul. The institutionalized church removed the technical knowledge and left only the dogma. They told you to dress a certain way so as not to sin, but they hid the fact that the true sin, the original error, is disconnecting from your own source of power. Today, the textile industry is one of the strongest arms of this control system. Do you think it is a coincidence that most clothes sold today are made of petroleum derivatives? Plastic. We are dressing ourselves in refined garbage. Plastic is an electrical insulator. It blocks the flow of electrons. We are electrical beings. When you wrap yourself in plastic, you cut your circuit with the earth and with heaven. You become a closed and isolated system. And an isolated system eventually collapses. It is the law of entropy. Your monad begins to decrease in intensity, not because it is weak, but because it is being suffocated. It enters a hibernation mode, a power-saving mode to preserve the core of your existence. That is when your life starts to turn grey. Creativity disappears, passion cools. You become an automaton that just wakes up, works, pays bills, and sleeps. You become the perfect prey. But I promised I would reveal the 3 specific types. And I will. But before we get to the names and the fabrics, you need to accept the gravity of this situation. You need to understand that this is a war. Every time you get dressed, you are choosing your armor or your shroud. The ancient Egyptians knew this. The Essenes, the mystical community where many believe Jesus studied, knew this. They treated linen as sacred and wool as something that required extreme care. They understood that each fiber has a frequency signature measured in megahertz. A healthy human body vibrates between 70 and 100 megahertz. If you wear something that vibrates at 0 or very low, you pull your average down. It is simple mathematics. You cannot maintain a vibration of spiritual enlightenment if you are wrapped in a low-frequency shroud all day. The Archons operate at low frequencies. They cannot touch you if you are vibrating high. If your monad is radiant, they are repelled like insects before a bonfire. But if you wear the wrong clothes, you put out the fire. You become cold and dark. You become compatible with their frequency. This is how subtle possession happens. It is not like in horror movies. It is a constant whisper of negativity in your mind, thoughts that are not yours, Impulses you do not understand, a tiredness that never goes away. All facilitated by the clothes you bought on sale at that department store without thinking twice. Ignorance is their weapon. Knowledge is your defense. Now that you understand the mechanism, now that you understand what the monad is and how it is vulnerable to the constant touch of hostile materials, we are ready to identify the culprits. We are ready to go into the closet and separate the wheat from the chaff. Prepare yourself, because what I am going to reveal next goes against everything modern fashion has taught you. It will make you want to throw away half of what you have in your drawers. But remember, the empty space in your closet will be filled by the fullness of your energy back. The first type of clothing that Jesus and the ancient sages warned against is something so common, so ubiquitous that you are probably wearing it now and think it is harmless. But in fact, it is a spider web designed to capture your bioelectricity. If you want to reactivate your monad, if you want to stop feeding the parasites and take back control of your life, pay close attention. There is no going back after knowing this. The responsibility is now yours. Let us unmask the first great villain of your wardrobe. You have come this far, and this is not an accident, because the universe does not play dice, and your soul does not click on videos by chance. If you felt the weight of truth in the first two parts of this journey, you already know that what touches your skin touches your spirit. And now you understand that chronic fatigue, the lack of clarity, and that feeling of being disconnected from God are not just modern stress, but a calculated frequency attack. You discovered that the clothes you wear can be prisons of synthetic fabric that isolate your monad, your divine spark, and transform your biological body into a battery for the system. But knowing the problem is only half of the equation, and knowing without acting is the same as agreeing to your own slavery. Now we are going to enter the territory of the practical solution, of the real application, and the secret that the ancient Essenes and the first Christians kept under 7 keys about how to dress for glory and how to shield your auric field against any vampirism. Pay close attention, because what I am going to reveal now goes against everything the fashion industry and unbridled consumerism have tried to implant in your mind since you were born. Now is the time to clean the temple. The first practical step you need to take today, as soon as this video ends, is to go to your wardrobe and do a vibrational screening. Do not look at the pieces thinking about the price they cost or the brand stamped on the label, because a brand is just branded cattle, and you are not cattle, you are a sovereign being. Look at the composition. Take that polyester piece you use for sleeping, that petroleum-derived fabric that suffocates your pores and prevents your skin from breathing during the hours when your spirit should be traveling and regenerating. Feel the weight of it. Can you feel the static? This static electricity is chaos in the form of frequency. It creates a constant background noise that prevents the voice of intuition from reaching you. The first act of power is removal. You do not need to throw everything away today, if you cannot, but you need to stop using these pieces as a second skin. The golden rule that Jesus and the prophets followed was the purity of the material. They knew that mixing materials creates energetic confusion. Levitical law prohibited mixing wool and linen, not because God cares about fashion, but because each material has a different oscillation frequency. Wool emits one frequency, linen another. When you put them together in friction over the body, you create a field of dissonance, a subtle war over your skin that tires your central nervous system without you noticing. Now let us talk about what you should use to reconnect your monad. The secret lies in pure linen. Modern scientists measured the frequency of fabrics and discovered something that the ancients already knew through gnosis. The healthy human body vibrates around 100 units of energy. A sick body vibrates far below that. Synthetic fabric vibrates almost at 0. It is dead matter pulling you down. But linen vibrates at 5,000 units. Think about that for a second. 5,000 units of frequency. When you wear pure linen, you are not just covering nakedness, you are wearing a battery of light. You are raising the frequency of your body instantly. That is why angels are described dressed in pure and resplendent linen. That is why the priest could only enter the Holy of Holies dressed in linen. It was not aesthetics, it was spiritual technology. Linen is a superconductor of etheric energy. It does not retain static, it allows energy to flow through you. By swapping synthetic for linen or pure organic cotton, you remove the barrier between your monad and your physical body. You will notice in the first 3 days, sleep changes, mental clarity returns. That groundless anguish in your chest disappears because you stopped wearing the frequency of chaos. But there is an even deeper secret that was hidden in Jesus' tunic. The Bible specifically says that his tunic was seamless, woven in one piece from top to bottom. Why was this detail preserved for 2000 years? Because a seam is a rupture. In quantum physics and sacred geometry, continuity is power. A seamless piece allows energy to circulate around the toroidal body without interruptions. Of course, today it is difficult to find completely seamless clothes, but the principle here is simplicity and fluidity. Tight clothes full of zippers, metals, and complex cuts fragment your auric field. Jesus warned about simplicity because complexity is the hiding place of the ego and distractions. The simpler your clothing, the more space you give for your spirit to shine. Use clothes that allow movement, that let air circulate, that do not squeeze your energy centers, your chakras. If you wear pants that squeeze the belly region all the time, you are blocking the flow of vital energy, the chi, the force that rises from the base of the spine. Release your body and your monad will thank you with vitality. Now let us talk about color. Color is not just pigment, color is light frequency. The system wants you to dress in black all the time. They say it is elegant, that it makes you look thin, that it is chic. But energetically black is the absorption of all frequencies. When you wear black, you are acting like a sponge absorbing everything around you. If you go to a heavy place like a hospital or a bar and you are all in black, you come home loaded. Jesus is always portrayed wrapped in white or golden light. White is the reflection of all colors. It is a shield. When you wear white or light and natural colors, you are projecting your energy outward and repelling what does not serve. You become an emitter and not a receiver of psychic garbage. Take the test. Try spending a week wearing only light tones and natural fabrics. Observe how people react to you. They will feel your light. They will say you look different, younger, more alive. This is your monad shining without the dark filter of low vibration clothes. You also need to understand the washing ritual. It seems mundane, but it is magical. Clothes accumulate memory. If you had a terrible day, a nasty fight, a moment of deep pain, and you were wearing that shirt recorded the vibration of the trauma in the fibers. If you just throw it in the machine and wear it again, you are wearing recycled trauma. Water has memory, but you can program it. When washing your clothes, use natural elements. A little vinegar or baking soda helps neutralize the charges. But your intention is the most powerful detergent. Put the intention that the water cleanses not only the physical dirt, but all the emotional charge impregnated in the fabric. Bless your garments. This sounds ancient because it is. It is a forgotten technology. Before putting on a piece in the morning, hold it for a second and project light into it. Tell yourself that this piece will be your shield and your antenna for the divine today. When you start applying this, the system will try to pull you back. Someone will mock your simplicity. They will ask why you do not follow the fashion of the moment. They will say that linen wrinkles and is difficult to care for. Remember that the comfort of the soul often requires discipline in matter. Linen wrinkles because it is real, because it has plant memory, because it is alive. Polyester does not wrinkle because it is dead plastic. Choose the living. Choose what breathes. When you make this transition, you are telling the universe that you value yourself, that your body is truly the temple of the Holy Spirit and not a petrochemical waste dump. Your monad, which was on standby with a weak signal, suddenly receives full signal. The intuition that was muffled becomes a clear cry. Coincidences start to happen. You are in the right place at the right time. This is alignment. And do not think this is futility. Matter is spirit in density. Jesus knew that to ascend, one needs lightness. He carried nothing that bound him. His garments were extensions of his healing field. The woman who touched the hem of his cloak was healed. Do you think she would be healed if he were wearing metal armor or insulating synthetic clothing? Power flowed from him through the natural fabric to her. Your clothes can be channels of healing or barriers of isolation. The choice is yours every morning when you open your eyes and decide what will cover your skin. You have now the forbidden knowledge. You know the 3 types that suck your energy. The synthetic fibers that block the breathing of the soul. The clothes loaded with past traumas and negative absorption colors. And the dissonant mixtures that create vibrational chaos. You have the key to turn off the drain and turn on the source. Linen, purity, light color, conscious intention. Your monad is not broken, it is just muffled. Take off the dead layers and see how you shine. Awakening does not only happen in the mind, it happens in every choice, including what touches your body. Do not underestimate the power of the tangible to transform the intangible. This is the moment of your declaration of sovereignty. Take a deep breath now and feel the truth resonating in your bones. Say to yourself mentally or out loud, I revoke all permission I gave unconsciously for my energy to be drained. I cleanse my garments and my temple. I choose life, light and purity. My monad is active. My connection is direct. Nothing interferes between me and the source. Feel the power of these words. Feel how the environment around you changes just with this affirmation. You have taken back control. You are no longer a victim of fashion or low frequencies. You are an awakened one operating at high voltage. The path of Gnosis is lonely at first, but you are not alone in spirit. There are thousands of others awakening right now, throwing away the artificial shells and returning to the organic and divine essence. You are part of this silent resistance. A resistance that does not use weapons but uses consciousness. A resistance that starts in the wardrobe and ends in spiritual ascension. Stand firm. Do not fall back asleep. The comfort of the synthetic is the anesthesia of the soul, and you decided that you no longer want to be anesthetized. You want to feel. You want to live. You want to be. And now I have a very serious request for you. The algorithm tries to hide this type of information because it feeds on people sleeping and consuming what they do not need. If you felt that this message activated something inside you, if you felt the call to purify your life, you have the duty not to let this flame go out. Subscribe to the channel right now because this series of revelations is far from over. There are other secrets about food, about water, and about the words that Jesus left encoded and that we are going to decipher together in the next videos. But you need to be here to hear. Do not let the system distract you with cat videos or fear news right after. Break the pattern. Click the subscribe button, activate the bell, and share this video with that one person you know is ready to hear. Do not throw pearls before swine, but deliver the light to those who seek. Leave a comment below saying, I activate my monad to seal this commitment with your higher self. The universe reads your intention, but it responds to your action. Act now. Put on your armor of light. See you in the next revelation.